Guys, very, very unfortunate news here, Brandon. I guess we'll go to you first and we'll kind of take the third part of this segment now, given the recent news that's just broken. What's your reaction to the news that Stefan Wilson will not compete at this year's Indy 500?
Gutted for him too. I mean, Dry Reinbold, this is their one event every year, the Indianapolis 500, and Stefan Wilson, as much as I've seen of him, a class act, gentleman driver, and really loves this place. And I know he's going to be just just reeling that he can't take part in this race that he's qualified for. But we certainly hope the best of recovery for him. And he, you can't predict things like this. It's Indy is always going to be dangerous, and this incident there, and also thankful that Marshall Pruitt is okay. I saw that
Yes.
as well today. That was horrifying that he was in that place at that time. So glad that we can say that Marshall Pruitt is with us today, and also that Stefan Wilson is going to be able to recover here, even though he won't be a part of the greatest spectacle in racing.
Kobe, obviously, it's tough to forget the Wilson family's tragic history with Justin being killed at Pocono 8 years ago. This is a race that I know means so much to Stefan, getting this opportunity to come out and continue honoring his brother's legacy once a year. What's your reaction to the news that unfortunately his plans will have to be put on hold for at least one more year now?
Yeah, it seems super unfortunate for this to happen to Stefan Wilson. And in my opinion, it seemed like that this is one of the best cars he's ever had at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Even when he was at Andretti Autosport, it always seemed like that he was the slowest Andretti driver there, and it just wasn't working out. But this particular seat, it seemed like he really fit into Jar and Rumble well, and they really had some good speed. I was looking for him to have a good race on Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, and now that we know that Stefan is not going to be in the race, I'm sure the next thing people are going to be wondering who in the world is going to take his place. I know a lot of people are probably going to be like Graham Rahal, but pump the brakes there because it's not so simple, because Graham Rahal is a Honda driver. Mm-hmm. And I see behind the mic says that Graham might not have to buy his way in now, but the thing is, as I was just about to say, Graham is a Honda driver, and we don't know the manufacturer's situation there. Honda might not want him to be driving a Chevrolet powered car, so that would effectively keep Graham Rahal on the sidelines for this year's Indy 500. Who knows? We've seen stranger things. Honda might okay it just for this one race, but it's really going to come down to what the manufacturers want. But typically in situations like this, they don't want to be loaning out their manufacturer driver out to their rival. But right now, the biggest buzz certainly I've seen especially from Jennifer from the Associated Press. She says, like, right now, JR Hildebrand has been on site all week. He didn't have a ride for this year's Indy 500. He's driven for Dry and Reinbold in this race before, so it seems like JR Hildebrand would be the most obvious replacement, and Casey Campbell is in the same thing right there as well. Yeah, it will make a lot of sense. And also you have Sage Karam, who's also been with this Dry and Reinbold team for many years. This first year not racing with them in a long time. So I guess Karam, Hildebrand are probably your two more obvious candidates here.
Josh, Matthew says here in the chat, Stefan Wilson, of course, was leading the 500 5 laps to go in 2018. Absolutely gutted for him. Looked like he was going to have a great car this year. I want to ask you this question because we were going to talk about this given the nature of the accident today. Anyway, how do you weigh the risk of needing to practice in a group to get the car dialed in for the race versus playing it safe and missing out potentially on getting that important information and helping your car handle better in the slipstream, but avoiding the risk of what we've just seen here with Stefan Wilson?
Yeah, today was a really weird one. We don't usually have this practice session, wasn't it? It's been added after the qualifying, because usually we go straight into carb day at the end of the week. So I called today sort of a low carb day as well, because we've got proper carb day on Friday. So this is low carb day practice. But I was surprised to see the amount of people who were out there properly giving the tow, slipstreaming as well. But I think they were all practicing as well, fuel saving. That's what I think caused the crash, because everyone was lifting through the corners. I'm in the commentary box because I was commentating on the practice session, obviously, and as well. And I was looking on board with some of the miles per hour, lifting on the gas and that and lifting through the corners. They were slower. So I'm quite surprised that was the danger of pack racing, because this cannot be blamed at Katherine Legge at all. This absolutely cannot be blamed on her. This looked like the entire field lifted through one on a fuel-saving technique in pack racing, and she, who had just joined this little battle as well, was expected to go at full throttle. So she was at full throttle. Everyone else had lifted. So Stefan lifts. She hits the back of him, and round they go. It's a simple accident that shouldn't have happened. And it does run the risk. Why they do it, I don't know. Because obviously you've got to get the data to see how you run in the toe, how you run out of the toe, how are you at the back of the toe, the front of the toe, the middle, how are you when you're side by side, how can you do maneuvers left and right? We saw Herta practice a move we saw Ryan Hunter-Reay do in 2014 by going down low at the back straight into 3, touching the grass. So it's got to be done, but the risks they were taking today was frightening me a little bit as well. So I was surprised to see the crash, but not surprised at the same time because everyone's running different strategy. It's not the race. Not everyone's going to be going full throttle. Not everyone's going to be doing the fuel saving. So it was going to happen eventually. Have they had too much practice time? I think yes. Obviously, as I said in the commentary, there's no power steering. You've got to hold your muscles and hold the steering wheel at over 230 miles an hour for 500 laps. That takes strength, knowledge, and practice on what the car can do. But this year, they've had less because they've lost out on one day of practice when it got washed out. So we've seen everyone sort of gang up on the practice time, do more of these runs, and I'm surprised we didn't have this crash early, especially before qualifying. Now it's put Stefan Wilson out of the race. I knew he would be out the race. I didn't say it because obviously why would we? But from that type of accident, I was hoping he wouldn't be injured, but I thought they had to extract him as well from the car. He was complaining of injuries as well. As I said, he was something about his foot as well. So he didn't want to get out, he didn't want to risk it as well. And now we found out it's a back problem as well. So it's the vertebrae as well, T12, which is just at the base of the spine as well. If you take a look, actually, I'll demonstrate on myself because I can stand up a little bit easier. If I take a look at where the curvature at the back is, it's right here, right at the base of the spine as well, before your coccyx area as well. So that's where you're laid in the seat. So it's the vibration feedback that's caused the problem. So it's going to take a little bit of time to heal because they do. So speedy recovery is wished for him. But it was an accident that didn't need to happen. It was everybody on different runs in pack racing in a practice session. That shouldn't be happening.
Whoever the replacement driver is for Stefan Wilson and Ryan Rahal, carb day when they have that short little practice session is going to be very, very important to get them up to speed. And although it's unfortunate circumstances this happened to Stefan, at least it happened today on a Monday rather than on Friday at carb day. You know, where you're going to have a driver who has no laps on this track at all and has to go out there to start a 500 miles, cold turkey style.
I was going to say one thing to reply to you, Kobe, as well about the possibility of Graham Rahal going in, even though he's a Honda driver. If I was Honda and I was Graham Rahal trying to sell this to them if he needs to, then just say this. We have a golden opportunity here to study the Chevrolet engine at the 500. A flat-out Chevy engine. Honda are going to want that data. We all know it. So they might get a little bit of grease palm there saying, I can tell you how that engine goes and I can help you out.
And so, that is exactly why Chevrolet is going to say no.
Yeah, they're not stupid.
You guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe JR Hildebrand hasn't missed a 500 since 2011. He's kind of been an Indy only driver for the last decade or so now. But I believe he's got an active start streak as well as, of course, Graham Rahal for the last several years. So a lot of active start streaks on the line. It looks like one of them we would think is going to be saved here. I would think that those are your three most obvious replacement candidates. I don't see somebody kind of coming out of left field here like a Ryan Briscoe or I don't know. I think
NBC. He'll be both.
Hinch and Townsend Bell I think have enough duties this weekend at IMS. I don't know, but they would be willing to get back in the driver's seat at this point.